Dr. Rajiv Awas, Minister of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, Shri Shivraj Patil, Governor of Punjab and Administrator, Union Territory of Chandigarh, Shri Lalthan Hawla, Chief Minister, Mizoram, distinguished ministers from different states, Shri Arun Kumar Maira, Secretary, Ministry of Shri Arun Kumar Mishra, Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, Shri Arun Maira, Member Planning Commission, distinguished recipients of the awards, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be here this morning for the presentation of the national awards instituted by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. These awards recognize outstanding contributions in alleviating poverty and improving housing infrastructure for the urban poor through missions and schemes of the ministry. I congratulate all the best performing states and cities who have been awarded today. I hope that the benchmarks that they have set will spur others to uplift their efforts. I also compliment the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation for motivating states, union territories and cities to work towards making the country's urban centers more sustainable and inclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, urbanization is a phenomenon that has touched every part of the globe. Nearly half of the world lives in cities today. 2 years ago, in the first time in history, the urban population outnumbered the rural population, making the advent of new urban millennium. Cities have become engines of growth and centers of innovation. At the same time, cities have been also subjected to tremendous pressures due to migration, social inequality, civic infrastructure inequity, and environmental pollution. In the next 40 years, India is projected to witness the highest rise in urban population in the world. Are our cities and towns equipped to face this spurt in population? Are our governance structures and service delivery mechanisms robust enough to meet the expansion envisaged? It is worrisome that our city structures struggle to keep pace, as visible signs of systematic inadequacies, slums, and homelessness pose considerable challenges for policymakers. There are an estimated 93 million slum dwellers in our country, with an urban housing shortage of nearly 18 million. Slum dwellers live in abysmal conditions and are deprived of essential civic amenities. The challenges confronting our cities are daunting, yet surmountable. I applaud the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation for designing and rolling out innovative policies and programs aimed at bridging the gap in urban housing through increased housing access for the urban poor. Ladies and gentlemen, urban poverty is multidimensional. The traditional income and consumption parameters are inadequate to fully capture the nature of deprivation. A more holistic, vulnerability-based approach spanning the three key areas: residential, occupational, and social, is required to effectively combat poverty. The homelessness and slum dwellers are exposed to residential vulnerability. Those lacking in skill, training, and formal education, and those having uncertain wages and unsanitary, undignified, and oppressive work conditions suffer from occupational vulnerability. Gender, age, disability, and social stratification give rise to social vulnerability. Unless urban poverty is understood in the context of vulnerability, any policy intervention will fail to deliver the expected outcome. It is heartening to note that the schemes of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation resonate with this vulnerability framework. The Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission is focused on tackling residential vulnerability. Swarna, Jayanti, Shahari, Rozgar Yojana, and now the National Urban Livelihood Mission on occupational vulnerability, and Rajiv Awas Yojana is geared to address residential, occupational, and social vulnerabilities. JnNURM has been decisive in its fight against urban poverty. It is truly commendable that its submissions, basic services to the urban poor, the integrated housing and slum development have benefited the poor and deprived in 980 cities. This scheme has also provided the impetus to pro-poor budgets reforms in urban local bodies. I call upon these institutions to implement the mission's initiatives in a time-bound manner. The Rajiv Awas Yojana has been formulated on the singular focus of bringing slums within the formal housing system. This scheme espouses the innovative features of gender and community empowerment, as well as the problem of mortgageable rights. I am pleased to learn about the steps taken to promote slum-free city planning to ensure efficient implementation of the scheme objectives. While launching the cities that have completed the plans, I urge the rest by also to follow the novel initiative. I also call upon the states and cities to step up their community mobilization efforts under this scheme. The use of local materials and energy and cost-effective building technologies can lead to a paradigm shift in the low-cost housing. I am hopeful of such practice being encouraged more while administering the projects. Increasing the accessibility of the urban poor to formal housing underlines the need to address their affordability concerns as well. I am told that the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation has recognized their demand-side challenges in urban poor housing. The Credit Risk Guarantee Fund and schemes such as Rajiv Rin Yojana seeks to improve the affordability through formal housing finance for the urban poor. The sustainability of poverty alleviation schemes rests on the broader interventions of skills and livelihoods, training and creation of self-employment opportunities. The SJSRY schemes and now NULM have to be leveraged properly for true empowerment of the urban poor. I am confident that tapping the policies and programs effectively can lead to a substantial improvement in provision of housing and basic services in the urban sector. Ladies and gentlemen, proposed reform measures by governments around the world have resulted in halving the extreme poverty between 1990 and 2005. Between 2000 and 2010, nearly 200 million people have been lifted out of slums, out of which India accounts for 30%. I hope the proactive measures being taken will mitigate this further and enable us to move towards a slum-free India. Cities are the focal points for individual and collective well-being. If the people residing in the cities are bogged down by lack of basic amenities, they will be unable to unleash their full potential to pursue creative efforts. We have to enable people to make their best contribution. Everyone has to partake the benefits that a city provides. Otherwise, we will fall short of success in our endeavors. Otherwise, our policies and schemes have to continue with vigor till the goal is achieved. Let cities be the harbinger of progress and prosperity in the country. I once again congratulate all the state and cities bestowed with the national awards today. I wish Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation the very best in all its future programs. Let me conclude with a few lines from a famous poet, Wordsworth, who wrote, I quote, "This city now doth like a garment wear, the beauty of the morning, silent, bare, ships, towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie, open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air." Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.